Unfortunately, animals have a knack for putting themselves in dangerous situations. Because they are constantly in search of food or simply just curious, they often place themselves in compromising positions. If you want to see what happens when animals get too close to electric power, sit tight as we look at the top 45 moments when animals were electrocuted. Number 45. All these goats had a habit of running off into the fields, so the owners of this little farm had an electric fence installed, and now the goats get a small shock that tells them to stay within the boundaries of the fence. Even the cat is following the rules. Number 44. A monkey's curiosity almost gets it killed when it is electrocuted and falls to the ground. The monkey can be seen on the ground semi-conscious. For some reason, people put sand on the monkey and leave him there. Perhaps it is to cool off his body. Number 43. No, this squirrel is not practicing a trapeze act for the circus. This little guy gets the shock of his life when he makes contact with an electric fence. I'm surprised it didn't send him flying. I guess the shock is strong enough to discourage the squirrel from staying there, but not dangerous enough to knock him out. Number 42. You can see how close this little bird is to being zapped, and when he is, he just disappears. I guess there's only one thing to say. Beam me up, Scotty. Number 41. Saying this spider got the shock of its life is an understatement. The spider was evidently roasted by the shock and died. Number 40. When a wasp lands on an electric fence, he's almost shocked to death. Even though the insect is still alive, I don't think it's going to be for very long. Number 39. Here is a goat that tries its luck with an electric fence, but the second it touches the fence, it runs off and bounces up and down, hitting all sorts of things, moving as far away from the fence as possible. I guess that couldn't have felt good. Number 38. A determined young adult black bear sneaks past an electric fence drawn by the sweet aroma of honey. The entire episode was captured on security and trail cameras after returning 2 more times. You can see the bear trying to move the container, which causes him to get too close to the fence and take a shock. He runs off faster than he came in. The big guy returns only to be disappointed again. I guess this fence is effective and prevents pests like bears and other animals from stealing valuable merchandise. Number 37. This dog is curious and wants to get across so he can play with the cows. But the second he touches the fence, he runs the other way. I guess he finds out the hard way that cows are not to be spoken to. Number 36. These people grew tired of their vegetable garden being raided by a giant moose, so they installed an electric fence. And when the moose went to get his morning snack, the snack didn't taste so good. I must say, it electrified him. Number 35. This chimp is looking for trouble when he decides to take a walk on the wild side. He manages to get to an electric pole before being zapped and weakened by the shock. He tries to hang on, but eventually drops to the ground, where city officials and ambulance wait to catch and rescue the chimp. Number 34. This squirrel is not a flying squirrel, but that's what it looks like when he gets zapped and takes a plunge to the ground. Squirrels are probably the animals that walk on electrical cables and climb electric poles the most, so this puts them at risk of receiving a deadly shock. I once saw a squirrel get roasted by a shock and died instantly, falling off the roof. I could see him decompose from my bedroom window during the following months. Number 33. These birds meet at the top of an electric pole, but one of the birds is unlucky and gets zapped. The bird falls to the ground and the person filming approaches it. The bird is stunned but still alive, and after a few seconds it even manages to fly away. I hope it learned its lesson. Number 32. What happens when a bear plays around with an electric fence? In this case, the fence wins and the bear runs to mama with his tail between his legs looking for hugs. Number 31. A curious baboon approaches a fence he wants to climb. But what he doesn't know is that the fence is alive, and he finds out quickly that it also bites. As soon as the baboon begins to climb, he is zapped and runs off in the other direction. However, another baboon is seen climbing and crossing to the other side without a problem. Number 30. This poor horse got too close to an electric fence, and when the fence zapped the beautiful animal, he ran like the wind, away from the fence. Number 29. A snail approaches an electric fence with caution, but will that be good enough? We can see the snail's reaction when he gets shocked. He moves his head back in disgust. Number 28. Pigs are intelligent animals, and it won't take time before they learn the consequences of touching an electric fence. But this little pig touches the fence inadvertently and runs off after he does. This is a small enclosure, so it's not easy to stay away from the fence. Number 27. This man kept losing fish to a raccoon that was snatching them out of the water. Hence, he got an electric fence installed. And instead of shocking the fish, the raccoon was shocked by the fence. Number 26. Some tourists arrived in South Africa, and on their first day, they encountered a cobra that got zapped when he made contact with an electric fence. A man pushed the snake away with a stick to prevent him from further electrocution. Number 25. A baby monkey finds his way up an electric pole and is zapped. The monkey survives and is taken to a clinic to be cared for. A man is seen taking care of the suffering monkey. But the good news is that he's going to survive. Number 24. Parrots are being electrocuted according to the sibling of the person filming this video. So he grabs his camera and records the whole incident, and you can see the other two dangling by their beaks and one on its tail. They were producing an electric shock by climbing from wire to wire. They would not have been electrocuted if they had just stayed on one line. Number 23. While he was on the phone, a man heard a loud banging noise that sounded like a shotgun blast. So he ran outside to see what was going on, and he saw a squirrel tail. A few minutes later, the squirrel gets up and loses his balance, crashing to the ground. The squirrel can be seen on the ground in pain, barely breathing. A shock like this for such a small animal is a lot to take. I'm surprised the small squirrel was still alive after this. Number 22. A bear became persistent when he noticed a chicken coop filled with chickens. After damaging the door, an electric fence was added by the owners. The bear never returned to try and break in again. Number 21. A fat-looking dog tries to get outside the yard, gets a nice solid shock, and runs back inside without hesitating. This will keep him around the house without trying to venture too far. Number 20. These cute goats are curious, but they soon find out why curiosity killed the cat when they touch the electric fence and get stung. Their big mountain dog is also curious, but he would rather not touch the fence after he saw what happened to the goats. Number 19. These deer were used to eating the hedge on this property, and when the owner installed a new electric fence to prevent them from doing so, they still tried to get to it, but boy were they surprised when they found out touching the fence hurt so bad. This video shows Lily the cow getting shocked on the tail because she is so busy eating that she forgot how close she was to the electric fence. So she got a firm but gentle reminder to please step away from the fence without the possible injury of barbed wire. Number 17. Here's a cat looking for some affection, but instead receives the shock of his life and runs for cover. This happened while the cat's owner was petting him. I hope the feline doesn't associate being petted with getting a shock, or this owner will have to wait a while before he can pet his cat again. Number 16. This small dog just couldn't leave the garden alone, so the owner temporarily hooked up the middle fence tape to a battery fence unit. He figured this would be the dog's last venture into the garden, and I think he was right. Number 15. This BLM Mustang would chew through the top wood poles of this fence to escape to the highway. The owners installed an electric fence around the perimeter of the property to protect the horses and people commuting on the road. The other horses, which include quarter horses, mountain horses, and Arabian horses, were also chewing on the wood but were unable to escape. They also placed mineral blocks in front of them to see if it was a mineral deficiency, but they believe it was simply boredom. Number 14. The water buffaloes are coming back out to the pasture for the winter, but the little one needs to learn what a fence line is. I'm sure he'll learn quickly enough after getting a few shocks like this one. Number 13. The sheep in this video know to keep their distance after they get a shock. Once they understand this about the electric fence, everything will be fine. Number 12. It doesn't look like an electric fence works to keep elephants enclosed. Shock or no shock, this elephant walks right through this electric fence and crosses a busy road with a lot of traffic. Number 11. While driving on a quiet road, a driver sees a goose fall from the sky. The poor bird was electrocuted and most probably killed after the incident. Number 10. This kitty learns an unfortunate lesson about electric fences when he gets too close to one. He ran away and will be okay, but he just found out how shocking certain fences can be. Number 9. This slug is trying to crawl under an electric fence, and no one can do this slower than this guy. But no matter how slow he is, if he makes one false move, he will be roasted. Number 8. This man's kitten was approaching his pond and inadvertently touched the electric fence, receiving a quick bolt of lightning that just scared him away and taught him what his boundaries were. Number 7. It almost looks like this adult water buffalo is pushing the young calf towards the fence to give him a shock. Perhaps the small calf isn't listening to his mom and she wants to teach him a lesson. Number 6. This Doberman approaches an invisible electric fence, and the second he gets too close, he feels the pain. He has no idea what just happened, and he's wondering if it's the cow's fault. He tries to figure out what went wrong, but he's not willing to give it another shot. This is one smart dog. Number 5. This innocent white goat is taking a stroll along this electric fence and gets a shock for the first time. This goat used to get away by jumping the fence. This fence was constructed because there's a road directly in front of the pasture where cars travel at 55 miles per hour up a hill. So the property owners would rather their goats suffer a minor shock than run away into the pasture and onto the road to be hit by a car. Because they are their pets, they adore them. Number 4. Freedom, the family cat, was shocked by the electric fence. It only happened once. The day the owners put up the fence for the goats, all the cats kept running under the fence. Eventually, the owners had to turn on the fence. When they did, Freedom got shocked, but it was the first and last time it happened. Number 3. 2 Canadian geese fly away from a man walking his dogs. One makes it over the power lines, but just barely. The trailing goose doesn't gain enough altitude in time, hits the power lines, and is electrocuted and killed. Number 2. The horse in this video has a small fetish for electricity, and that's why he's rubbing his derriere on this electric fence. He wants to get zapped because he likes how it feels. Talk about a masochistic horse. Number 1. A monkey practicing his trapeze act on an electric wire to impress circus owners that were in town found out soon enough that this was not the place to train when he was zapped by the current, which threw him to the ground. I don't know if the monkey survived, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. Some of these were hard to watch, but my favorite was without a doubt the bird that disappeared when it was zapped. I don't know if that was some special effect, but it was fun to watch. Which one was your favorite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? Well, that's our look at the top 45 moments when animals were electrocuted. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. That's it for now.